Do It All Dad does Pleasantville. According to LinkedIn, The Ellen Show is looking for a digital marketing manager. What are the must have requirements for this job besides being pro Bush? Is it me, or does Robert De Niro on The View look like Betsy Ross falling apart at the seams? If Google doesn't manipulate search results, then why is it harder to find positive mentions of President Trump on Google than finding a film blogger on Rotten Tomatoes who called The Irishman underrated? Imagine Greta Thunberg debating President Trump on climate change on pay-per-view. Trump says, fracking reduces our carbon emissions, Greta. Greta freaks out. So Neil Young is full of shit now? Trump says, Neil Young doesn't take showers to reduce his carbon footprint. That much you share in common, babe. Did you know you could be fined $250,000 for using dehumanizing language on an illegal alien in New York City, like no speak English? Who's translating these insults for Juan exactly? Now, an illegal immigrant in New York City gets a driver's license to vote and a hate speech translator to bankrupt Apu at a bodega in Flushing. Do blind men get the beer goggles? Assuming they do, does the seeing eye dog offer a second opinion? We better pass on this one, Stevie. You can feel her face, but I could smell her snatch. Woof, woof. This is Ziggy Marley, interviewed by High Times Magazine. How did your dad, Bob, have 7 kids? Doesn't ganja drain your life shooter blaster dry? Fake news, man. I have 3 kids now. I've aged well, I know. Despite my wife bemoaning, I've sacrificed. She acts like an aspiring stand-up comedian in his 20s while living in Queens, wanted kids ever. And can we stop calling Queens hot? It's not. Compared to Manhattan and Brooklyn, Queens is the sloppy third Kardashian sister. You know, the extra greasy one who's easy to pound at 3 in the morning, like a lamb gyro in Astoria. My daughter believes in God, but she's always looking for ways to disprove his existence. She'll say, Daddy, if God created the universe, then who created God? God went back in time in a time machine made by Elon Musk? Real convincing, Dad. Thanks for making me an atheist at 4. My mom asked me if my daughter watched the Women's March on Washington around the time my daughter was learning how to read. Daughter tries to make out one of the protest signs. Daddy, what's pussy power? Is that a new show on Amazon Prime? My wife works at night in the NICU, revitalizing blue-faced newborn babies for a living. This makes me feel like a total narcissist because all I check for is for retweets. 1 kid only means your diaphragm is for walls after all. Actress Rosario Dawson flirting with one-time presidential hopeful Cory Booker. Would you run into a burning building for me, Cory? Cory Booker says, was it you or Chloe Sevigny who got AIDS and kids? Just kidding. In the end, that white bitch didn't feel so privileged after all. Have they taken the Rocky statue down yet in Philly because it promotes white supremacy? Fuck China. Chinese-made fentanyl has killed more crackers in this country than Lena Dunham kicking it with Taylor Swift on Instagram. The New York Times says mothers who juggle jobs outside the home today spend as much time with their kids than stay-at-home moms in the 70s. So all the stay-at-home moms from the 70s slept on the job on one too many Quaaludes, haunted by images of Cosby's family-friendly sweaters? I don't get it. Wish I subbed my no-show whiny Jewish grandma for a wise black grandma for my wedding. Posting out on Craigslist. Tyler Perry impersonators are welcome. Must be comfortable performing in front of white audiences only. I don't believe ex-Knicks All-Star Kristaps Porzingis tried to rape a girl in his apartment building the day he tore his ACL. First, going strong to the hole was never KP's forte. Last, do you see Harvey Hairclumps Weinstein trying to rape Wonder Woman, played by Gal Gadot, on only one good leg? Deplorable Is anyone glad Jussie Smollett took a shot? 48 people have been fired at Google for sexual harassment, but software engineers are too busy banging out code to hit on girls. Plus, I don't think their typical Perl script command is massage my carpal tunnel hoe. Whenever my son, who's 3, gets fussy around mama says, baby gets bored whenever he spends too much time with me. Always knew he was a quick learner. Quotes about Mother's Day aren't the best sales pitches to use on millennial Mouseketeers relishing their non-mom status. It's difficult but rewarding. Being a mom has made me so tired, yet happy. Tina Fey doesn't smirk anymore. Enough with Israeli aggression. If Hamas fires 700 rockets into Israel's backyard, don't expect an edible arrangement gift basket in return, with a thank you note written in Farsi. Hillary Hammertime Cankles giving a speech on cybersecurity is like Kevin Durant giving a TED Talk on how to ignore cyberbullying. Hate is good because it motivates you to seek out places where you feel more valued and appreciated. Like at a Trump rally behind your wife's back to make your sex life above average again. Put my man meat in, Indiana MILF. I'm ready to play. Jon Snow from Game of Thrones going to rehab in Connecticut for 75 grand a week ruins everything. Jon Snow was supposed to be the more alpha dog, Orlando Bloom in a beard. Yet now you get the impression he'd startle easily from a cutting stare by Gordon Ramsay on an episode of Master Chef. Celebrity edition for his take on Dothraki lamb burgers. Chef Ramsay yells, "This burger tastes like burnt villagers, Jon Snow. And what the fuck were you thinking making Dothraki lamb burgers with the rosemary roasted garlic aioli, Jon Snow? Dothrakis are never confused for shishi bitches like yourself, Jon. No offense." What I love about President Trump, still your president, is his relentless optimism and over-the-top salesmanship. If Trump was diagnosed with HIV today, he'd tweet the next morning, "Do I have HIV? Yes, but my T-cell count numbers have never been stronger." Thank you. This is the Do It All Dad Year podcast, what Gen X parents understand. Controlling our kids' economy can make our kids great again. My 3 fuss-free kids, for the most part, are living proof of it. Want to give a shout out to Kara Kennedy, my lovely editor at the Good Men Project. She notified me last night that Thursday night, a new piece of mine will be on the internet forever, titled "The Last Self-Loving Jew of New York." Can I get a holla for an A-plus headline hooker that only yours truly is capable of generating on a consistent basis forevermore? Holla! I've also decided that I'm going to sell homes for a living, and I'm going to sell homes so I can continue to do this podcast and continue to do me. So, you're welcome! And I so miss making money. And doing content marketing for the largest research advisory firm in Stamford, Connecticut is not providing me sustained stiffage a long time, anytime soon. And I love the idea of being able to finance my art just so I could rub that in my mom's face and get into Montreal Comedy Festival while she's having money in the bank. And so I could live large and get a Pimp Daddy suite at the W and have my parents say, well, even though you got into Montreal Comedy Festival, this is my mom, don't expect me to still show an interest in your comedy career. I'll say, it's okay, Mom. You already told me that for the realtor test that I could take it like 5 times and flunk it as many times as possible, and that there's no limits on morons like myself, and that eventually even the dumbest of deplorable rocks can get the job done. So thanks for the vote of encouragement, Mom. So much for ending on an upbeat note. But my point being is, I know I said that this would be the end of the podcast and that you wouldn't hear from me until I finish writing my book, The Great American Jew Novel. But I just found out that Philip Roth has a book called The Great American Novel. Talk about a boring as fuck title. I'm contemplating using Do It All Dad Year, but I feel like I've done that to fucking death. So The Great American Jew Novel still excites me. But the point being is, you guys are going to have a book. Well, you're not going to have a book. I'm going to have a book for my birthday by April 18th. So ideally, we'll get a publisher and an editor. And you guys say, hey, I knew about this big-headed Jew. He called that a shot, and he made it. Now he's making bank, and he can say whatever the fuck he wants on the show, drop as many F-bombs as he wants. And he's a personification of hustle and relentless belief. And we're going to give him props for continuing to do him no matter what. And if the people who are in charge of TED Talks choose not to accept his speech on using your kids like open mics, then it's a sign that Ted isn't as hip as he portrays himself to be. And I'll talk to you guys soon.